Ah,
Yo,
hello.
what up?
Uh, we here? Did we do it?
Wait. Yes. Kevin's here. Kurt's here.
Hello, Kevin.
Uh,
Hello, Kurt.
Kurt, what up?
Chilling.
Um, are you hearing feedback?
I am not. Are you?
Okay, good. No.
Wait, there's no
Are you,
feedback.
Kevin?
Right. I'm not.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Eric, this is huge, dude.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Yeah, so I updated Normcore today, and I think hopefully I fixed that problem. So, oh shit.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, let's go kind of live, right?
Yeah,
Sure.
we are live
All right,
now.
so let's go ahead and do it to it.
Nice.
Cool. Hi everybody. Welcome to Yarworld. And this is a special time and a special event because we have Kurt on teching, running cameras. We have Kevin Laibson. Kevin, is that the correct way to put your last
It
name?
is. Yeah, you nailed it.
Sweet. And we are just freaking getting it right now. Yeah, Kevin, what's going on, man? Welcome.
Hey, thanks. Not much, right? I don't know how to. This is the first time I've done any kind of talking to anybody publicly since pandemic, I feel like. And so I want to try to not talk about that. But like, man, what else is going on?
No, what you mean. I have just basically been doing this kind of crap, and like trying not to get sick. So
Great. Well, that seems like totally reasonable.
Yeah. Let's see. We got a couple of. By the way, it looks like you already found out how to kind of change your avatar around.
I did. Yeah. I hope you don't mind.
No,
Did you
not at all.
model these? Are these avatars all yours? Your work?
No, they're not. They're kind of ripped them from different places.
Got it.
Yeah. Which is part of the fun of like not actually publishing something, but just making it like this shitty place to like have really stupid conversations. Yeah, Kurt, how are you doing?
I've just been kind of working on stuff all day.
Okay.
Yeah, but other than that, I've been loving. I had just had some cookies, chocolate chip cookies.
Oh,
they were tasty, dude.
Oh man, that was good.
It was a good. It was very good.
Nice.
I'm a weird thing. Not a bad tech issue, but I'm only hearing Kevin on the right ear. Are you hearing this too?
Yeah, I know. Me too.
Huh.
That's kind of weird.
I have not messed with my audio settings in the Quest at all, so possibly I should have. I don't know.
Kurt, are you hearing me in both channels?
Yes, but it's like slightly panned to the right. Like I'm looking at my audio levels, and I see a lot of it. It's right heavy.
So, even mine as well.
Yours not as bad. I'm seeing left and right, but again leaning towards the right side. So,
it's weird.
Yeah.
Wonder why that is.
It may,
because I can hear that. Yeah.
It might be my Quest. The Quest is pretty old and pretty abused.
Yeah, you're. Are you on a Q1?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I am. I'm on a Quest 2, but I mean, like after, all of the everything that's wrong with Quest in terms of, everything.
Yeah.
You being in a Quest 1 isn't so. Yeah. I have great respect for the Quest 1. Let me show a couple of little. We got a couple of sets that I put in here recently.
Yes. Oh
yeah. Here's the gas station one.
I haven't explored this area
which
yet.
we've messed around with.
Whoa.
I know. Let's look around because it's. I haven't looked around too much either.
is this also like someone else's asset? Like, how much of this
Yeah,
did you make?
yes. This is just I'm just straight up like pirating a lot of shit.
Word, word. All right, cool. Because this
Yeah.
is delight.
Um yeah,
Very Borderlandsy.
it's kind of a lot. Uh
Very Borderlands.
yeah,
And
right.
also
I
kind of
know.
like
I wish,
Super
one
Nintendo-y.
of these days I'll
Hmm.
be able to like right. I'm going to what would be fun in here? It'd be kind of fun if you could pull these things off the wall
Yeah.
here and then spray each other with gasoline.
Hey, is my not
um
to talk tech this whole time, but is it possible that because I'm getting hard spatial audio, is it possible I'm hand right because I was standing to your right? Like, is this better? Wait, that's still your right. Is this better? Is it changing?
I'm having a hard time hearing Kevin. You, Kurt?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh
Are,
shit, just like generally?
are you hearing me okay?
I feel like the levels just
I'm
dipped,
hearing you kind of distant. Yeah. Yeah.
and they're
It's
like
like shit
slowly
riot
getting
going over here by the
they're
car.
slowly getting quieter and quieter.
Huh.
It just can't be like normal
I,
in
I
this
thought it
fucking
was fixed.
place. But let's see. If we go back towards the center, would that be insane if
I don't think so. I mean, we started
we
moving away, and then the audio started to just dim.
Yeah, how about now?
Whoa, yes,
l-
you're.
uh
Whoa, yes, it's way
Yes.
louder here.
Wow.
What
This
the fuck?
so that's fucking crazy. Oh shit.
I think what would be the problem is there's only one audio listener in the scene.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and because
That makes
like we've got multiple, you're in VR, I'm in VR, or on a desktop. I put one audio listener, and it may be that thing is just sitting in the center of the scene, and that when we walk away from it, our mics are. It's a spatial audio problem, but this is good.
yeah.
That's
It's good
cool.
to
Right.
know. It kind of sucks.
I think it's awesome that the Boris Aiken marquee stays in whatever location. It's interesting that RoboCop
Right,
doesn't
right.
make it,
Yeah.
but that Boris does.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not really. There's not a clear reason to that. Part of the reason is because Kevin, I was like I was thinking of doing like a stand-up comedy club, and have
Yeah, I get it.
a bunch of people doing stand-up, and then you could sort of switch the environment. You
Got
know,
it.
I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna really happens, but um, I have this like dojo set that. Oh wait, that's not right.
Oh, cool.
Oh yeah, this is
Whoa.
then another.
It's like the Matrix.
Yeah, but there's not colliders on these sets, so you just end up walking right through the floor.
I see.
Yeah, this sucks. You can't like grab any of the. Really, if you can spawn props,
Huh, cool.
Kevin, and right now the props are just like basic geometry.
Just yeah. Well, and a mushroom, I
There's a
guess.
mushroom.
Right. And oh, they also don't have colliders?
Kurt,
Oh, they do.
yeah.
I see. Got it.
Are you guys, Kevin? Remind me, you were artistic director at the Pit for a long time. Is that true?
That's true. I wouldn't say for a long time. I did about as much time as anybody does in that position. I was there for a little over 3 years, I
Okay.
think. But yeah, it was,
Okay.
that is a thing that I did, and I enjoyed it very much. And I met a lot of really great people, like Boris, most importantly.
I had a weird interaction with Ali. I'd never met before, and then but the guy who's like the most recent artistic director, a guy named Matt, he connected Ali to me because of the VR thing, and I guess they're trying to maybe do more virtual shows and what different things.
Yeah.
but the guy, he emailed
Uh-huh.
me, and Ali, and he was like, yeah, I can I'm down to talk on Zoom or meet up at the pit. And I was like, okay, well, Zoom sounds better to me, then I don't have to go into the city. And he's like, great, like, let's do 9 p.m. I'm like, who does a Zoom at 9 p.m.? But I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. So then at 8:11, he emails me. He's like, okay, I'm ready. And I was like eating dinner with my girlfriend. I didn't get it till 8:50, but I was like, oh shoot. Okay, so I email back. I'm like, yeah, I got on early. I'm on now. We can do it now. And then dude never emails me back. Never gets on the Zoom call. Then I emailed him. I'm like, oh, sorry, I missed you. Maybe we could do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Nothing. So I was like, I've been hearing that this dude is like marches to the beat of his own
That's a
drummer.
very generous way to put it. He does that.
Yeah. So, anyways, I was like, yeah, that's the way I'll interpret this.
I can't even imagine
anyways.
what his life looks like right now with pandemic and his venues and stuff.
Right.
But he
Oh,
has
dude,
always
it's
been hard to nail down, let's say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
But
I'm sure.
yeah, I'm sorry that didn't work out.
Yeah.
I am certain it would not have been much of an opportunity. I say with all the kindness in my heart. I'm sure that there are more lucrative and productive ways for you to spend your time than to make stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure that that's true. Kurt, do you have any pit experience?
Pit experience. I did get on a pit team about 2 years ago. And I was on it for about a month, but then I had to leave because I got the job at UCB as the technical director. I had no time.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah. Performance or get paid. Yeah. Perform for free or get paid. That was my my trade-off. But I do miss my team. I had a good time with them for the month I was there.
Improv team, sketch team?
Improv. Yeah, it was like during a big shakeup. Yeah.
Yeah, they love those.
Kevin, let's see. Can we give a quick rundown to anybody, and if anyone is watching, about just kind of like your general backstory in terms of like kind of transition, your theater experience, and then also somehow you got into VR, and then like what you're doing, merging those things.
Sure.
Now.
I started working in theater like as an actor when I was about 16, professionally working. I had started acting long before that, like most people do. Became a director when I was like 20-ish. Started directing, realized I hated acting, so I got into direction, which ultimately led to artistic director positions. I ran a space, co-founded and co-ran a space in Sunset Park called Magic Future Box for a long time. And went to school at the New Actors Workshop, which is how I got into improvisation. We studied improv like all of the time. That was most of the work. And so started improvising at a place called National Comedy Theater, which is like a short form competitive show in Midtown for a number of years, where I met Jeff Lapine, who went on to be the artistic director of the Pit, who ultimately recommended me for that job, not to replace him, but to replace the guy who replaced him. And so I was the artistic director of the Pit, which is how I like sort of solidified a place in comedy, quote unquote. I had already been directing City Hall sketch comedy for 10 years or so. And we had started at the Pit with a guy named Mark Stetson, who's like an amazing, really talented maker, really funny improviser, really good at everything kind of guy. Stetson was the guy that started getting me into VR. He like got really excited about, I'm forgetting the name of the camera, but it was that YouTube rig that was like 32 GoPros, in a circle.
Oh, okay.
And so he was really interested in bringing 360 video into improv theaters, specifically because we know like archival footage for theater is really bad, but archival footage for improv is worse. and there was so his thought was if we put a 360 camera in the house, like in a seat, then it's at least a more accurate representation of what it was like to be there on the night. And so we started experimenting with that. And we recorded a couple of Centralia shows, and he taught himself how to stitch 360 video because he's a fucking monster. Everyone should hire Mark Stetson, by the way. And man, so he stitched a Centralia set together, just like the opening few moments of this set. And I put a headset on. It might have even been a cardboard, if I am honest. I don't really remember. But I put a headset on and I watched this 360 video from the office in the pit. And I came out of it like with tears in my fucking eyes. Like it really did feel, the way that fucking VR feels. And 360 video, even when it's done badly, still like has some sense of immersion. So that was really exciting. And then several years later, I got hired I posted online about getting a job as an improv teacher at Atlantic, where I currently teach. And a woman I went to high school with named Kira Benzing, who has been in the VR news lately, reached out and said, "Hey, I'm doing some experiments in performance in VR. We're looking for some improvisers. Do you have any students who would be interested in coming?" And I said, "Absolutely not. Forget my students. I myself will happily come and do this, and I will bring my friends." And so we did that. And so Kira brought me onto this project called Alive in Plastic Land, where they were working with High Fidelity to create live performance. High Fidelity's audience wanted more interaction, and the Alive in Plastic Land's response was like, "Oh, well, let's bring in some improvisers and see if that qualifies as sort of interaction enough." It didn't, spoiler alert, but we got to do a couple of short form shows and a couple of workshops for them.
If I just interject, what was the threshold for interactive enough?
I think, frankly, I think it had much more to, like, ultimately they were like, "Okay, this is enough. Thank you. We're not going to hire you to do more of this." They sort of hired us to do this case study.
Right.
And they saw it. And the truth of the matter is the show was bad. The talent was good and the content was okay. It was a short form show, take or leave. You opinions on short form aside, like it was a relatively successful version of that, but the tech aspects just absolutely fell apart on the day. We had a bunch of mic problems and a bunch of like lag issues, and obviously like the same issues that persist in getting a bunch of people into a space in social VR were the case then too. And it was High Fidelity, which was High Fidelity. So everything looked really beautiful, but it was carrying a lot. It was like a really expensive bandwidth wise show. Anyway, so it sort of fell apart technically, and I think they were like, "Okay, this is not ready for prime time." And ultimately, like, they built us a theater, which was incredible, and I'm so grateful for. But it was a proscenium theater. It was actually modeled after UCB Sunset, and it's not I think Sunset, maybe the other one. I'm forgetting. Anyway, it wasn't like a super conducive space for VR because you end up with a bunch of people just like hopping around in the back, like looking for shit to do. So that was a really, despite the show not being a huge success and High Fidelity going on to shut down, it was a really wonderful and exciting thing. And it was like, oh, well, this is all I want to do. Like, oh, I've been making theater for, Jesus, like 20 something years now, and I've never felt integral or important. And I'm not saying that to like shit on myself. I just like make a lot of theater among millions of other people making theater. If I left the city, as much good work as I think that I have made, nobody would fucking miss me. But immediately after getting into VR, it was like, oh, when we experiment, when we try things, other people are noticing, other people are taking that information and they're making other cool shit with it in a way that felt more significant and more like immediately rewarding than most of the live work that I had been doing. Not to sound entirely ego driven, but it was good for my ego.
No, I know what you mean. I mean, like, that's part of the reason I got into it too, is because it felt like you're doing something special and rare that nobody else is doing. There is a way in which like the tech is moving so fast right now where I almost feel like, man, I kind of wish it would like slow down. Like, I just want to play with the toys that I have right now. I don't need more freaking toys. But it does feel like you get into this arms race when you're in the mentality of like, I'm doing something special and unique, to where you kind of always need to be on that sort of technological front vanguard, I guess. But, there's so much lateral territory that has yet to be explored in VR. With the Quest, I mean, and the Quest 2, just in the mass adoption on the horizon, that kind of special secret thing of VR that got you interested at first is kind of rapidly becoming a mass thing. And I'm wondering for you, like, how do you relate to that thing of like, if VR becomes a bunch of like people doing like one of the most popular YouTube stuff that's not gameplay on YouTube that's VR is like shitty like Ugandan knuckle meme stuff in VR chat. And I'm not shitting on that because this is like basically 50% there. But what do you think about that whole arena of like mass adoption? What do you think about like what people are doing with it that's creative, and how theater relates? And
it's a really interesting question. I mean, I think I feel a lot of disappointment around what I am seeing like be made, but also, I mean, it's sort of like, to speak to something you said really early, there is this like constant overhauling of the systems that we're using, and like always new shit available, and it's like, man, I'm still not good at like any of it, I would like to get excellent at something. And so like in that there also comes this relief. Like there's a part of me that is always anxious when I see a playwright or a director who I admire, or actors or whatever, starting to mess with this stuff, where I'm like, no, I feel like I'm so close. Wait, just hold off. Everybody hold off.
Right.
But on the other hand, it's like nobody expects this to be perfect. It's so new as a medium, even going back to the 60s of VR. With like nobody has been doing any of the shit that's been being done in the last year. And so mostly I'm excited to be working in a medium where I don't have to compare with thousands of years of history of how it's done. And like I met a guy, I just did a play in Hub, and we brought on this oh my god, I'm forgetting his name because I'm a piece of shit. But we brought on this really wonderful programmer to help us with some like scripting for some object animations, and then also to talk about capacity, which I actually don't think we ever really messed with. But he had been making dance parties, like DJ dance parties in Hubs that were really cool and successful. And he had written basically he had figured out a way to get like 100 people into a Hubs room and still have it functional, but that's unheard of, right? Hubs is basically maxing out 8 or 12,
right?
And man, and he was like one of the most, I will probably remember this conversation forever. He was like, yeah, so we got it working for our party, and somebody asked me how to do it, and I was like, oh, I don't know, I got it to work, and now I never have to get it to work again. I proved that it can be done. And he was like, I'm a prototypist. I'm not here to like make a thing to sell. I'm here to just see if it can be done. And I was like, well, that is a mind-blowing way to make art, man. If we can just agree that like all we're trying to do is see if it can happen once, see if we can make the like messy version. I mean, you come from Sketch. I work in Sketch. Like I'm so used to being like, oh, we're not going to afford this prop. We're going to hold up a piece of paper that says clipboard on it, and we'll be fine. And that I can be working in a medium that is that has that mentality, but is also so many other things, is like really exciting. Mostly, I feel excited about my ability to half-ass and still have that feel like and be accepted as my whole ass.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I like, I'm basically, with this and world, and the other things that I'm doing, it's tough to I love collaborating and being reminded of why I'm doing this stuff, because I mean, programming and just even like the actual construction of worlds and things, it's a lonely process. Unless you're working with a team, and I'm not currently. I mean, by day for work, but I am. But but actually, like, fucking around is the fun part, and it's hard to, with the arms race, to like see if it can be done and to like, get noticed. It's a lonely road. So increasingly, and that was the purpose. Like I meant about the conversation with Ali and the pit and stuff like that. I still like want to and try and reach out to these people from the New York City comedy diaspora to try and get people involved in all this stuff. So I don't know. It's cool to hear your optimism about some of this stuff, because you're right. Like, there's a lot of stuff, the stones to turn. There's a lot of things to explore.
I did. I'm teaching a class right now at NYU for like integrated technology and performance, and which is real fun. And they, Facebook. I honestly even hesitate to say the word Facebook when I'm in a quest.
I know, dude. Don't you feel like fucking the Eye of Sauron's gonna appear and you're just gonna be like, no, don't
the
burn
ceiling's
me.
gonna pull off and someone will like reach down and end my account. But actually, that's sort of what I was going to talk about. Is the very lovely team at Horizons brought us and our students in to like give a tutorial on how to use their build. And I don't know if you're in Horizons beta.
I tried it once. Yeah, very briefly.
It does the job. But their building system is collaborative, and you can have, I think, only up to 4 people. And I don't know if you ever used Facebook Spaces, their previous VR thing, where it was like you were around. It was just a table, and it was waist up, and your avatar sat at a table with these people, and there were sort of some table-based activities. We killed it pretty quickly. It was fine. But what's cool about the reason I'm talking about all this is that the collaborative building, you're like a joystick flick away from being the size of the environment, like appropriately sized to the environment you are building on the table in front of you, or the size of a giant making this stuff on this table. And so you can pick up your collaborator and move them over here to show them a thing if they want to be on the table, or you can, it was, the reason I bring this up is because it was the first time I've like fucked around and spoke a fair amount and like done building in hubs and VR chat, all this, like, Unity is of course its own separate beast, but like this was the first time that I was building a thing and I was enjoying it, because it felt like I was playing with Legos with my friends, like very directly felt like playing blocks with your friends, and then you could like flip a switch and just be in the construction. And none of this technology is particularly like new, but the seamlessness of it is really beautiful. And it made me not particularly excited to keep building stuff for Facebook necessarily, but it did make me really excited about the future of like collaboration through VR, not just in a performance element, but also in like an architectural and all other kind of maker shit elements.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not. I obviously you'd be crazy to like try and well, you can't contain Facebook. I mean, and it'd be crazy to run from some of the cool things that anyone creates in VR. I mean, because why not experience those things? But there is a part of like the Facebook's multiplayer tools and the emergence of these things that makes you feel like, well, damn, like if it's cool enough, like why would anybody visit anything that I'm?
That's true.
So I don't know how to feel about that quite yet. If the divide wasn't so sharp with regard to like all of the things they're cramming down your throat, then I think people would be much more open to like, oh, well, just if I, go along and invite my friends and I even maybe establish my little VR domain using some of their tools, then, why not? Like, let's play by their rules. That's fine. This is great. We're all coming up together. But it just feels like they're freaking dominating everyone and ripping out and de-incentivizing anyone from trying to make their own thing. And then they're gonna punish you if you violate their terms of service. It's like, the only value I could see in something like what I'm making or with some other people with a Wild West type things are because it's going to be the only place where you can get freaking nuts.
No,
I feel like so
absolutely. And like I am not arguing for the commercialization or the commoditization of like VR as an art space or as any kind of space. But also, like you said, I think everybody wants Facebook to start making really good user-focused decisions, knowing that they never will. I think everybody recognizes that the Quest is an incredible headset, and we all are like I think everybody's rooting for this stuff to be great. I don't think I don't think that we're all rooting for like Facebook to have this monopoly that they're obviously pushing for, but I think we're all rooting for Facebook to offer up something to the market that is valuable and cool, because they're capable of it. It's like the companies that have enough money to make cool shit should be making cool shit. I want to see that cool, expensive shit. But just like Broadway, it's like I'm not going to go see Broadway shows most of the time. A, I can't afford it, and B, they're like generally not that interesting. I'm so much more interested in spending $5 on St. Mark's to go see some fucking weird shit in the basement. Then I expect that same like culture differential will exist in VR, God willing, unless it does just get like fucking quashed out of all of us.
No. That's a good analogy. I like that. It's like, for every Broadway show, there's going to be like a bunch of crazy radical stuff on the margins. And it's always been that way and it always will be probably. Well, we do pretty short shows here, partly because we got to let Kurt go here, but so we're gonna probably sign off here in a second. But it's really fun having you. You got to come back, especially because I am getting to the point where I want to start doing actual like scenes and like playing characters and stuff and in here. So we'd love to have you for that. And then and tell if anybody's out there in the world, in cyber world, what's something that they can see or follow you. Where would you send people to check out what you're doing? Is it Twitter or somewhere else?
Twitter and
what?
Instagram are where I'm most. Kevin as a robot. Kevin as a robot with an A. Should have been an I. I regret it, but it was years ago now. And basically anywhere you can find me, you can find me at /Kevin as a robot. I'm too active on Twitter.
Cool. Awesome.
Oh,
well,
man.
Thanks Kevin. Appreciate you
so
coming. Guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
See ya.